This is Joe Walsh. One thing I do when I'm not playing rock and roll is get on the air as an amateur radio operator. Also called ham radio, is a communication service provided by ordinary people just like you and me. We have a national emergency communication system in place 24/7, 365. Find out more about amateur radio at arrl.org/what is ham radio. See you on the air.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bob Fopp, and welcome to the latest edition of the Outdated Entertainment Hour. On this program, on this podcast, I should say, it's Guess Who? No jokes from me. How many times have the people heard the name and said, why should I guess? Don't be ridiculous. The Guess Who were one of the biggest bands in the 1960s and 70s. 14 top 40 hits on the American charts alone, and classics such as American Woman, No Time, These Eyes, Share the Land, go down the list. Hand Me Down World. Just keep going and going. I happen to be a big fan of Canadian musicians. However, my favorite Canadian group was the Crew Cuts and their hit in the 50s, Shaboom! I was only in my 40s back then, and it was a wonderful time for me. Stop your chuckling. It's the Outdated Entertainment Hour. You over there, row 7. The hat is much too high. Take it off. I say take it off, or I'll call security. If not, the police. No, not the band, you Philistine. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Outdated Entertainment Hour. I'm Bob Smith, the old writer from all those magazines all those years ago. Great to have you back for a really special edition about one of this summer's major tours. I'm sure you've read about this already, but the revived and reformed and real The Guess Who is on the road this summer. Featuring, of course, the legendary front people, singer Burton Cummings, of course, he's a great pianist as well, and guitarist and singer Randy Bachman. And it's going to be a whole night full of hits wherever you go see them on tour. Oh, it's going to be even better because opening up is Don Felder, formerly the Eagles, and you know he's going to fill your pot with as many Eagles hits as he can jam out there. So it's going to be a wonderful tour. And last year, you may remember I had a fine guitarist named Joe Augello, who is going to be the newest member of the Guess Who on this tour. And we're going to talk to him about what the preparation's been like, his experiences so far. He seems to be having the time of his life, and I think you will too. I will say this. I'm a little biased on this one. The Guess Who was my favorite band growing up, into my high school years, into college when they broke up. Here's the deal. This particular unit, the backup unit, is an incredible band. These guys still have their chops. Burton Cummings still sounds like Burton Cummings. Randy Bachman still sounds like Randy Bachman. They may be older and grayer. But you will have so much fun at this show. I would doggone guarantee if you go, you'll have a good time. And you know what? They're not gouging for their tickets either. So this is going to be a wonderful tour. It's kind of a shed tour, the outdoor amphitheater type of thing and things like that. And they're also playing some casinos and places like that. At the end of the interview, stick around, because I'm going to list every single one of the Guess Who's gigs coming up in any country. It may be either Canada or the United States. I'm going to list them all, tell you how to get your tickets, which is real easy. Go to theguesswho.com. Just that easy. They'll link you right to the venue and give you a complete list of dates, but we're going to tell you the dates here. And then we're going to do a little mini guide, very short, of the Guess Who's RCA years, list their hits, have a little fun with it. But first, of course, Joe Augello is going to join us. He's such a cool cat. You're really going to enjoy hearing him once again. I'm excited to have him back. I'm excited to go to the show. It's locally where I am here in the New York City area. I'm going to have a blast. You will too if you see the Guess Who this summer. So find out all about it in a couple shakes. We'll be right back. Speaking of that, remember shaking all over? Last year, we were graced by the newest member of the Burton Cummings band, Joe Augello, a wonderful guitar player from the Long Island region of which I reside. And, well, one thing has led to another in the interim, and I am really proud to announce that this gentleman is going to be part of the upcoming Guess Who tour here in the lower 48, which has already had a few dates in Canada. Am I right about that, Joe? You did a few dates already.
They were actually in the U.S. Well, technically, the first 2 shows we were on a boat near Turks and Caicos. We were out at sea. Oh yeah, we did the first show. Oh, I forgot. We did the first show at Fallsview, and then the 2 shows on the boat, and then we did one in Fort Lauderdale. So we're 4 shows in right now.
Wow. Yeah, it's a little sporadic in the beginning, and then in May, you guys are really going to take off. Folks, it's Joe Augello of the Guess Who. Welcome. Welcome back.
Thank you, Bob. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. We developed a nice friendship here, and I could not be prouder, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been meaning it. When I thought about doing the second read, I just want to do something about myself for 2 minutes.
Go for it.
I'm 13 years old.
Still.
My parents, yeah, right. My parents gave me some money for Christmas. At that point, I owned 2 singles by the Guess Who. One was Rain Dance, and the other was American Woman.
Mm.
So I could do anything I wanted with my Christmas money, and I went to this local drugstore that had albums.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought the best of the Guess Who, which had been out, I think it was released in 71 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, I'm 13 years old, and they became my favorite band of all time. The fact that it's 26, and I still get to go and see a concert by my favorite group, my mind is blown. That is a track record, isn't it?
Amazing. It's and believe me, wait till you see what we have in store for you guys, because it's really special, man. In 2026, to have these guys in great shape and just so excited and on fire for all of this. It's incredible. It's incredible to see it, but it's even more incredible to be a part of it, you know? So I'm so excited for everybody because these guys are still at the top of their game and they love what they're doing.
I don't want to get into the legal rigmarole of last year, but the legal rigmarole of last year led to all this happening. The fact that they could tour under the Guess Who name for the first time since early 2000, if my math is correct.
Yeah. Was it 2003 or something?
Maybe that was the end of it. Yeah, around that point. I think the last gig they did together was the Canada Rocks thing for the
SARS
health problem they had up in Canada for SARS. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that was the last gig of that lineup, which also had Don McDougall and Gary Peterson and Bill Wallace. And, you know, they were great. I mean,
we just moved to LA. Like, it was like our first day or something in LA. Like, we got our cable that day and I watched it. Rush was on it and a bunch of people, you know, so I remember that. I remember it well. So.
Well, I'm wearing a hat right now from the 2001. You folks can't see it because it's an audio podcast. It's from the 2001 tour with Joe Cocker, which was the most spectacular tour. And Cocker was still Joe Cocker at that point. And I saw that one at Saratoga Performing Arts Center. And I went and got the Running Back to Canada DVD and album. And just, I used that album as a primer. In fact, I just sent it to one of our frequent podcast guests, the video of Running Back Through Canada, to show the quality of the band, even in their advanced ages. And now it's 2026, which is a long time from when the Running Back Through Canada tour was.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from seeing Joe and the other band members at Westbury Music Fair with Burton Cummings, you guys are in for a treat. You guys, I'm not blowing smoke at you. I invited people I know to that show in Westbury who had never seen Burton Cummings before. And they left flabbergasted.
Wow.
The show was great, and the band was awesome. And this same bunch of musicians, these fine musicians from Canada and you, because you're from Long Island, they're all part of what you'll see on stage. And I am telling you, I have always called them. I called you guys this in print years ago. The best Saturday night band on the road. It feels like Saturday night when you guys perform. Am I wrong, or am I just making this up?
Oh, totally. You know, it's we could be playing in a bar, we could be in a stadium, and we're gonna rock just as hard. We're gonna give you a great night. We're gonna make you dance. We're gonna make you cry. we're gonna put a big smile on your face.
Well, I think it's only fair to mention too that younger people, why would I go see the Guess Who? The Guess Who are one of those bands where when they take the stage, you don't realize they had 14 top 40 hits in the United States alone. They had many more than that in Canada. The thing is this, you will sit back and you will know every song but two.
Mhm.
I tell to everybody that goes to see the Guess Who, I say, you will know every song but maybe a couple.
Yeah.
And most bands can't say that, and I think it's credit to Burton and Randy, Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman, that they wanna play the old hits. They're not there to push something new. They enjoy
Mhm.
playing the old stuff as much as the fans enjoy hearing it.
Yeah. You know, the songs are for Burton and Randy. The show is for the fans. This is our gift to the fans, to do it right and to do it the best that you can possibly have it done in 2026. So we're really, really excited about it, you know, and we've been getting really good reviews on the 4 shows that we've done so far, you know, and it just feels great. I mean, it smiles the whole time we're on stage, you know, we're just having a ball. Yeah, you just see the crowd's reaction. You know, these people, they've grown up with these songs, they've gotten married to these songs, they've, you know, lost loved ones to these songs. You know, they mean so much to so many people. We're here to honor all of that. It's great. You know, this last year and a half that I've been a part of this is just really blown my mind, just to see not just the crowds and the reactions, just the power of music, how important these songs are. You know, there's a lot of purpose in this whole thing. I just want to honor all of that. And I'm so humbled and grateful to be a part of it.
Well, if you listeners out there are hearing Joe for the first time, we had him on last year, and I researched who you've played with in the past, and you have played with a array of heavy hitters in pop and rock. I mean, you
Yeah.
have been the busiest, a session guy, a touring guy, everything there is to do in the music business, you've done it. How is this experience measured to everything else you've done before this?
On the music side, to be a part of this huge legacy with Burton and now Randy, and just to see generations in those seats that are reacting to this music on a personal level, I couldn't have been surrounded by the greatest people in the world if I tried. These people are amazing from the top all the way down. You know, from Burton and Randy and the guys in the band to our management, our crew. Everyone is just incredible. You know, I've been touring for many, many years. It's a hard way to live on the road, you know, even when you're doing it in style. And there always comes like a burnout period, at least for me. People get to, you know, they get a little saucy and things start to change. Not in this organization. We love each other so much. There's so much love and so much respect and so much fun. So it's a pleasure to be around these people. They've become my family. You know, they're just incredible. So yeah, you know, from the music to the business side to the personal side, it's 100% all the way. You know.
Well, I can identify with because you know we talked the first time. You know, I was
Mhm.
recording artists. I made 4 or 5 albums back in the
Yeah. Mhm.
80s and 90s, and I
Yeah.
used to drive. I used to drive the van, man. I used to have this
Mm.
beautiful Ford Club wagon. It was
Mhm.
a modified Econoline, and there were
Mhm.
usually 4 or 5 of us, and we would just jump in together, and all the animals are going down the road together. And
Yeah.
touring is tough. Sometimes if things happen, nerves fray and you have problems with the car. I remember one time we broke down in the way to a show in
Mhm.
Pittsburgh. It was paying me more money than I'd ever made in my life, but we made the show. One of those deals. So
Yeah.
there's always
Yeah.
a lot of stress that
Mhm.
goes along with any touring act, regardless of the size.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said, I'm glad you brought that up because touring, I think it was Liz Phair that once said, everybody thinks of pop stars as everything is light and fluffy all the time. No,
Yeah.
it's hard work. It's very
Mhm.
hard work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes things go wrong and you have to overcome them
Mhm.
because when 8 o'clock, if it's just showtime, you got to be on that stage and ready to go.
Yeah. 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 There's so many moving parts, you know, especially when you're in a bigger organization. You know, right now, you know, we have some trucks coming with us. We have, more than one tour bus now. There's a lot of moving parts. We have video now and a much larger crew. So, there's more chance of things malfunctioning, trucks, breaking down but everybody is just so committed and everybody loves what we are and what we do. We all have a hand in it. It's great through all those, the tough times and the great times. I had my first tour with Burton. Our tour bus was very faulty and we couldn't get another one. And it would break down pretty much after every show, But everybody, our bus driver was amazing. Everybody was calm and cool and collective, and everybody pitched in, and that's the way a band works. That's the way a family works. So
Hey, we all have to roll cables, right?
yeah.
Doesn't matter what level you're at, you still got to roll those cables.
Yep, exactly. Well, luckily we're on wireless, so that's one thing I don't have to do.
Oh, that's good. Okay, you're more modern than I used to be. I haven't hit the stage since about 2009, so it's like things have changed so much in that interim time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go over the music. So many classic songs in one night. It's crazy, and I'm not going to ask you to reveal the set list because that's a no-no in show business. But is Randy doing some of his stuff as well as the Guess Who songs?
Yeah. We're picking and choosing certain ones. Burton's doing some of his solo stuff as well. We'll probably change it a little bit, but we're doing it all. So
I already know that between the Canadian dates you do and the US dates, some songs are different because some songs were bigger hits in Canada than they were here, or vice versa.
Right. Running back to Saskatoon is a must in Canada.
Oh gosh, I have to be honest. That's one of my favorite Guess Who songs, and I really wish. I know it's not going to be on the U.S., probably not on the set list in the U.S. I wish it was. That is one rockin' tune.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun to play. When I first started, the first handful of shows we were opening with it. It's always a great one, especially in Canada. They go nuts for that one. So
I'm sure they do. And I noticed you guys are playing on your tour in Saskatoon. That's got to be in this. If you don't play it there, they're going to riot.
Of course. Well, they'll never invite us back. But I'm sure.
You know that Pearl Jam actually played it live a couple times?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. They attempted to try it. They were in, I believe they were in Saskatoon, and there's a tape floating around the internet of this.
Wow.
And Vedder didn't know the words all the way. So they invited somebody up from the audience to try to sing it, and it was kind of a debacle. But
that's funny.
The fact that they even knew what the song was impresses the heck out of me.
Yeah. Well, last year we did the Rock Legends cruise, which we did again this year. And there was a guy from Saskatoon that was there, and he was begging me. He was like, "Come on, man, you gotta get Burton to do it. You gotta get Burton to do it." And I was like, "All right, let me see what I could do." And every day I would see him, and he would just come, running up to me. And I'm like, "Hey, man, you gotta come to the show." And I told Burton, and we did it. He flipped out. So we saw him again this year. And I was like, "Well, I can't promise. We have a lot more songs to do. This time."
There's something about it.
Yeah.
There's something about running back to Saskatoon. It's, I mean, a lot of the lyrics are just kind of like, it's like a travelogue. But the fact is, there's something authentic and really heartfelt about the way they're singing about a Canadian city that they were all familiar with.
Yeah.
It's almost like an homage to Canada, really.
Yeah, totally. They take it very, very seriously. That's a must when we're up there. So,
but since that wasn't a top 40 hit in the U.S., I want the fans to know that if you know a Guess Who song, they're going to play it on this show.
Yeah.
American Woman, you're going to hear it. No Time, you're going to hear it. These Eyes, Laughing, Undone, which is, by the way, I agree with Burton. I think Undone is the greatest song Randy ever wrote. Is he still saying that on stage?
Yeah. Without a co-writer.
Right? That was a single writing credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a song that is, though.
We got some deep cuts, too. Stuff that these guys never played before. That's going to be a treat for the diehards as well.
Really? So you guys, I did get an inkling as to the set list, so that surprises me a little bit on the US leg.
Yeah. We're gonna dive deep, so that's gonna be cool.
In a way, it's smart because if the Guess Who fans are coming out, they have the albums.
Absolutely. So there's a few that they've never done before that we're doing on this tour.
So
So
just as a way, everybody knows Burton Cummings, his great solo career. I mean, the fact that he still has 99.9% of his voice after all these years is a
mhm,
miracle in itself. I can only equate him to like Judy Collins now
mhm,
and David Crosby before he died. They sounded
mhm.
just like they did when they were younger. That's
Yeah.
impossible.
Mhm,
But Burton is such an expert at what he does that he finds ways to hit those notes in
mhm,
his older age. It's breathtaking to me because I'm in
yeah.
awe every time I hear him sing.
Well, there's a lot of things, fans will say about singers as they get older. Oh man, he can't hit these notes. He can't sing anymore. And I've heard it about a bunch of singers. It's okay to tune down a little bit to ease your muscles. But just because we're in a lower key or whoever, it doesn't mean that they can't sing anymore. Burton's voice, and I've seen it get stronger and stronger as we've been progressing, and it's almost like velvet now. It's very, very smooth. The way we play these songs is just perfect. He's a prodigy. He really is, musically and vocally. He's a freak.
Well, you know what amazes
Yeah.
me about it? If you go through his history too,
Mhm,
when they were
mhm,
recording "Undone," which has a flute solo in it, he had
mhm.
never played the flute before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And the
yeah.
fact that he had played a
Mhm,
little saxophone and he
mhm.
found out that the fingering was the
Same,
same,
same, yeah.
and to come up with a solo like that as a non-flautist is
Mhm.
incredible.
Yeah, I know, I
It
know.
is, it's sick.
Yeah, yeah. These guys, that's the whole thing. These guys are still passionate about it. I don't even call this a legacy band because these guys are still in their prime. They're not just going up there and just half-assing it just to fill the seats and, make some money. These couple of cool incidents that I've seen since we've, reformed and stuff. We were rehearsing in Canada. I think it was the last bunch of rehearsals that we were doing before we did the first show. The band would arrive at rehearsal probably like an hour before those guys would come, just so we could get our equipment working right and, warm up and just, be ready for when the boys come in. This one day we were just kind of hanging out, drinking our coffee and just shooting it. And Burton and Randy came in. They went right to their instruments. They just kind of sat down and they were ready to go. We were just hanging out, just kind of letting them do what they want to do or whatever. And they started playing this Shadows song with Cliff Richard. There were smiles from ear to ear, man. It was the coolest thing. Like almost like we were trying not to invade their time, but it was almost like they were in the garage again. Like they were just totally like laughing, and it was so great to see that after all these years there's still those kids, man, from Winnipeg.
Cummings is of an older age now, but he still has a teenager's appreciation for
Yeah.
the fathers of rock and roll.
Mhm.
And in an
Yeah.
encyclopedic
Mhm.
mind, he can whip out a song from 1956,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I'm sure he does
Mhm.
this during
All
rehearsals
the time.
during idle
Yeah.
moment, and you go, "Holy
Mhm.
smokes, how does he know this?"
It's so inspiring. I'm no spring chicken either, even though I'm the baby of the band. I'm still up there. So it's just so inspiring to see these guys just doing what they're doing at this age and doing it probably better than most of them out there. It's remarkable to just be a part of it. And one of the deep cuts, I won't say what it is. The first rehearsal, one of the songs that we're doing, it's a little involved, especially guitar wise. We were going to work on that one first. And I was thinking, well, wow, we'll probably, take the whole day to work on this. They've never played it before. Pretty complex. So me and Tim, we work out our guitar parts and stuff. And we're kind of like, okay, so if Randy doesn't do this, I'll do this. And, you do this if he doesn't remember or whatever. Burton counted it in and we just went and it was like they recorded it yesterday. It was so crazy. Like, these guys are still working. They're still practicing. They're still, honing their craft, and I think that's really, really important to see these guys do that. And it shows in the show. It's pretty remarkable, man.
You know what? Let's talk a little bit about Randy Bachman.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, to see a guy like that sit down next to you
Mhm.
and knowing what he's done, the career that he's had with not one but two major bands, to work with somebody like that from one guitarist to another. And
Mhm.
Tim Lovacante is a fine guitarist in his own right as well. He's
Yeah,
excellent.
yeah, yeah.
So you got a 3-guitar lineup for the first time in the history of the Guess Who.
Mhm.
And how's that feel? What's it like?
It's great. I mean, it's massive. it's great because as your lead guitar player, of course, I'm always too loud. But now that I'm standing next to Randy, he's way louder than me, so it's great. So but yeah, I mean, it's really powerful. There's certain things that will double together, me and Randy, some solos. So now it's like huge. Like Hand Me Down, we'll do that together. Share the Land, it's all three of us playing the solo. Yeah, it's pretty great. And we divide everything pretty evenly. Obviously, Randy wrote most of this stuff, so he's up front and center. But it's great, man. It sounds incredible, even from the stage. It sounds great.
You know what amazes me about you guys is that, by the way, Tim Boacante, Jeff Jones on bass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And name me the other members of the band if you'd be so kind.
Our drummer Sean Fitzsimons,
awesome guy.
Yeah. We call him Shotgun Red. He's amazing. And Nick Sinopoli, our percussion background vocals. Yeah, he's amazing too. He can imitate any singer and be dead on. I've heard him do Jagger and Robert Plant. He's incredible.
Well, as a unit, they were known as the Carpet Frogs in Canada, and they used to perform by themselves all the time.
Yeah,
right?
A few of them, not all of them.
So anyway, there's Randy, there's the whole band. And it's something about you guys. When you go out to play a classic hit, you pull off something that I think I've ever seen a band do, and I'm not going to mention any other acts, but some people, classic rockers, will get on stage and be so note for note, it doesn't have any soul to it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, conversely, have this amazing ability to, it's just like the record, but it's not just like the record.
Mm-hmm.
There's a soul to it underneath it that's indefinable, in that you're not mimicking note for note the songs, but they still sound exactly like the original songs. And the audiences pick up on that. And I think the key is you give the songs room to breathe musically. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. It's almost like making a meal. You just put enough of the spices in there to give it an extra flavor. I think because, obviously those guys have been playing these songs for couple of decades now with Burton, and they've done the Bachman Cummings thing a bunch of times, that they just know when to elaborate or change it up. And I've always been that way. When I come into a gig, I'll always stick to the record just so I know I'm safe. And you find your places where you can enhance or, again, give it a little flavor. Burton loves to hear the record, and that's very different than what I've been used to with these pop gigs where we rearrange all the songs, and you won't even know what we're playing until the chorus comes in.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, I think we're all listening to each other, which is very rare for bands. We're all listening to what everybody else is doing. When you lock in and we're all in sync, we know, okay, I know Tim's gonna do his thing there, so I'll just keep it to where it's supposed to be, and then I'll step out a little. That's the making of a good band.
And like I said, I've seen this particular unit enough that I'll say to anybody listening again, if you're looking for a rockin' tight yet tasty yet balls to the wall experience in terms of classic rock and roll, I cannot think of a better act than this. I can't. And it's not because I was a fan back in the day. There's something about this unit that's really, really special. It really is. And, a guy like Jeff Jones with his years and years of experience on the road and with different artists and stuff like that. I mean, it's just to see veteran guys like this who still have it, who are still, they're not, let's put it this way. None of y'all are phoning it in. We'll put it that way.
That the ego thing is not present at all in this band. It's really like, I was watching the World Series last year, was rooting for Toronto, and not just because of my Canadian my boys, just the way they were this unit. They were more than just a team. They were like a family, and you could see it and you can feel it. And it reminded me of our band. You don't get that very often. This is lightning in a bottle. How I got in there, I'm still amazed.
Pinching yourself, right?
Yeah. Like I said, probably in the last interview that we did, 40 years ago, I went to see Van Halen on the 5150 tour, and that was, Edward Van Halen was my guy. And it was the first time I was seeing him. And BTO opened up. The Beatles could have opened up that night. And I was just like, I want to see my boy. BTO, I knew every song. They just rocked for the 40 minutes that they had. And I was just like, wow, I couldn't even fathom that 40 years pretty much to the day later that I'm standing on stage with this guy playing those songs. So it's pretty amazing.
You think, and to see how good I remember this in terms of the timeline. They started, their first hit was These Eyes, followed by Laughing, followed by Undone, followed by No Time, followed by American Woman. Then you had Hand Me Down World and Bus Rider, and just goes down the list. Boom, 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 boom.
I think No Sugar was the B-side.
No Sugar was like an FM hit. Yeah. And that was why that one is included. Here's the question for you. You're going through all this, you're playing all these classic records. You're looking down. I don't know if you still have paper set lists. I'm an old man, but of course you don't. But let's say you're looking at your set list. You go, oh, I can't wait to play this one. You ever get that vibe? Or there's some songs you really, really get into playing?
Yeah. And depending on where we are, I'm like, uh-oh, they don't know that this is coming. They don't know that, so it's also for the crowd reaction as well. Yeah. I do have my favorites, and sometimes it changes. I love doing Hand Me Down. I love doing My Own Way to Rock. The real rockers, they're always so much fun, and we get to, step out. Albert Flasher. And of course, doing the whole jam in American Woman. Yeah. It's just, it never gets old. I've been on some tours where I'm like, all right, 4 more songs. You look at the set list and you're like, ooh, oh, we're only up to that, And this is just like, it's weird. This is the first time where I'm like, oh man, we can't do like an extra couple of songs. Like, do we have to leave? Because we just love playing with each other. We love playing these songs, and we love to entertain the crowd. There's highlights, but it's pretty much the whole show. The first song, the opening song, is a lot of fun too. So
okay, I'll leave it
to that. I'll leave it.
Yes, leave that a secret. When I saw you guys with Burton last year, I think it was, I brought people who had never seen Burton Cummings before. They knew the songs. I told them about it. Oh yeah, guess who? Okay, we'll go.
Yeah.
I brought 4 people who had never seen, and I have them in the foyer of the Westbury Music Fair. One of my favorite venues, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, listen, guys, you're gonna love this band. You're gonna know every song but 3. Sit back and you tell me after the show. And to a person, they were all like, "That was great. I can't wait to see this again." They all said the same thing.
Yeah.
So how does that make a musician like you feel when people? I'm telling you, your band is special. As a unit, you guys are really special. And you add Bachman and Cummings to it. My goodness.
I've brought a lot of friends to the shows with Burton, and it's the same reaction. You can feel it in the crowd. You can feel that when I saw Van Halen, that first show in 1986, I could tell it was their first tour with Sammy Hagar, and you could feel the love on that stage. You could feel that it was genuine, that these guys were, it was a new thing for them. I've never seen anything like that before. And I never saw anything like that afterwards until I stepped on the stage with these guys. There's just something special. We love each other. We love the music. That's really what it is. It's like being in a family reunion. There's just so much love, and we honor this music, and the entertainment factor of it. And I probably said this last time, especially the way things are now in our world, in our country, all around. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of fear. Gas is expensive. Food is expensive. Concert tickets are very expensive. So for these people to come and see us with all of that going on, they can be entertained at home with their phone. We have to move these people. They need to be moved. And how do we do that? We do that by honoring these songs, playing them the way that we do, and giving them the love that we have for each other to them. It's real. It really is. Music is healing. We have the power to heal, not in a religious way, but in a very soothing and emotional way.
To give you guys credit for one thing, whoever set this tour up. By the way, Don Felder is opening most of the U.S. dates.
Yeah, we're bringing in
that's going to be great too.
Yeah,
That's going to be awesome. He does a great show.
Yeah,
Here's the thing, and I'm saying I'm not blowing smoke at you guys. If you want to go see the Guess Who, you'll be able to do that without mortgaging your future. Or we'll put it that way. The tickets are very reasonably priced. I was very happy to see that.
Yeah. These guys aren't money grabbers. They're there for the fans. They're there for the music and to celebrate their name. I think that means more than just making some money. I think Burton and Randy are okay in that department. Yeah. This is like I said. Watching them at rehearsal. Playing songs that they were playing when they were kids. And just smiling and just the love that's there between the two of them. That's what it is. Yeah. Whoever comes out to see us, I promise you, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to go down memory lane. You're going to remember all of these songs pretty much. We're going to give you a great show.
Well, the one thing I like about this particular tour, particularly after the strife of getting their name back after years and years of musicians who weren't in the Guess Who pretending to be the Guess Who, let's just be honest about it.
Yeah.
The nice part about this is this tour, I think, will cement the legacy, particularly at this point in their history. And that's a big thing to me because it's like you're back playing the big venues and people can come. I am sure that on the road for the past since the late 70s, people would go to see the Guess Who with my fingers in quotes and go, who are these guys?
Right.
And left disappointed. You will not be disappointed this time.
Yeah.
Those days are over. As enthusiastic as you are, I think the fans will be too. I just know how audiences react to you guys when you play. And it's a magic, really, and I don't want to blow smoke here. I used to be a critic of kinds, but I was also a musician. I know how hard it is to do this stuff. To be able for you to step into a band like this, and a legendary name in rock music. This is it, man. I can't even imagine what this is like for you.
I think about all the great things I've done in my career. I've been very, very fortunate. I've been very, very blessed in that way. But this is a whole other level. This is something that I never dreamed of. I've been lucky to basically have all my dreams come true as a musician. But sometimes God gives you a little more. And this is one of those things, when they say you get something beyond your wildest dreams, this is that. And
wow,
yeah, it's great.
But it's still amazing. It amazes me to hear you say that because, like I said, and if anybody can look up Joe's record, see who this man has played with or for. It's you have been a real cog in the pop music business for decades now. I mean, and I'm not blowing smoke at you. You have done a lot of things. So for you to say that about this particular moment in your career, I find very heartening because it's like, Plus, I think this suits you. Your style, I think this suits you. You're finally getting a chance to show who you are as a player too.
Yeah. I've been lucky again. And just being a professional for a long time. You know how to kind of insert yourself into these things. With this, I didn't have to do that. I was already there. That's what I think again adds to the specialness of this band, because we're all unapologetically us, but it all works in the mix with this. It was meant to be. It definitely was. So, I get some hate on social media,
what?
like, oh, you're not in the Guess Who, that, blah, 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 this, these guys are the Guess Who. I said, Randy and Burton are the Guess Who. We're there to honor and support them,
there's a lot of factors that go into the lineup as it's comprised now, and I'm not even going to get into that.
Right,
but the thing is, this is the only way this could have happened.
Right.
This is the only way this tour could have happened. So you're either going to go and enjoy it and have a wonderful time, or sit back and grouse because some guy who was in the band 40 years ago isn't there. I don't see the sense in that. I say go out and have a good time.
Right. There's always going to be some of those people, and that's okay. I hope they come, and I hope they see what we're doing. This is the best example of what 2026 should be for the Guess Who. This is the best representation of these songs that you're going to hear this year and hopefully next year.
What's it like just watching Bachman and Cummings interact with each other. You figure they were doing this at up till about 1970. I mean, that's a long time ago. And the fact that after all these decades, they're a team once again. I mean, even since the early 2000, that last tour, that's a long time. What's it like to watch just these two?
It's great.
Hall of Fame talents work together. What's it like?
Yeah. So much respect and so much history between those guys. And especially at this age, whatever, if anything there was that might have been negative at some points or whatever, there's no room for any of that. It's nothing but love. I get to ride with them to the hotel and stuff, and and just see they haven't seen each other for a long time, and they're catching up, and it's great. Then the stories are golden from both of them, because now I get it. The ones that I've heard from Burton, now I get Randy's side of it. So it's really great to just that the history is just incredible.
Oh, there's stuff that most people don't know about. Like when they were trying to break through in the 60s, they went to England and almost lost their shirts doing it. And that's an amazing tale. Have they told you those stories?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing to, stuff that I never knew. It's all new to me, basically, because I guess who wasn't really on my radar growing up, to hear all this stuff. And it's mind blowing, just the history and what they've gone through, and they're both healthy. And they're both having the passion and the desire to do this.
And I'll say it just one more time. The fact that the band I fell in love with when I was 13 years old, and I'm an old codger now, and the fact that they're going to perform live and I'm going to be there to see it, shivers down my spine, man. Seriously. I mean, I didn't see this coming. And the fact that everything worked and shook down the way it did, it's just wonderful. And I really want to thank you for coming back on the show again. It's going to be a wonderful tour.
Yeah.
And I'm unabashedly going to tell everybody all of the tour dates, how to get their tickets at the end of the show. And you're a fellow Long Island guy. I never meant to ask you this. Did you play the club scene in Long Island like I did for many years?
A little bit when I was in high school. We went straight to Manhattan, basically. So I got to. I used to live. There was a club called February's in my town in Elmont, and that was like we couldn't wait to play there. We did that a bunch of times. I think I was too young for the real Long Island scene. My father's place and stuff like that. Spit, all the cool venues were gone by the time I was doing that. So I got to do the CBGBs and all that stuff. So.
I did too once. I played CBGB's once. Yeah. Totally not the right band for the venue, but I played it. And that men's room is the worst thing I've ever seen in music. Was just remember?
It's legendary. It's legendary. I played there a bunch of times, and all the Manhattan stuff. But it's great to come back home, and especially now. This is a bucket list one for me to play at Jones Beach. That's going to be
and everywhere else too. Some of the great venues, all over the United States. I saw you playing the Greek Theater. I think in Los Angeles. That's a big one.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times. A lot of the venues that we're doing, I've played before. The East Coast ones are the ones that I haven't, and those are the ones that I've been to. So doing like the PNC Bank, Saratoga. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Joe, it's the tour, one of the big tours of this summer.
Yeah.
Don Felder of the Eagles is the opening act, and I've seen him, and he puts on a fantastic show all by himself. It's going to be, it's a nice matchup. I like the juxtaposition. Let's put it this way: going to be a lot of hits on these shows.
Get there early if you're coming. You don't want to miss Don. He was on the cruise with us last year. And it's the same thing. It's nothing but hits. And his band is great. His bass player is a good friend of mine, so it's going to be cool to be on the road with him as well. We're excited, man. We start rehearsals next week, the week after. And
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. We got some production stuff to go over. We're bringing some heavy artillery with us. Well,
I want to ask you one last question about that, about rehearsals. I know, given my research, in fact, I was around at the time, around 74, 75, Burton was always the band leader, the Guess Who. And at that point, they got a lot more serious about rehearsals, about being
Mhm.
prepared, and it showed in what they were laying out on stage the last 2 years of that band.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen of the band since, he's still kind of not a general, but like a stickler for a really good, really
Yeah.
solid rehearsal. Is it
He's
still
the
that way?
captain. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, he's steering the ship. That's for sure. He knows what it's supposed to sound like. He knows how to pace the show, which is great. Yeah. Yeah. He knows how to fine tune it. He's the man.
I'm glad you said that because the set lists are perfect. I
Mhm.
always look at a good concert as being a high and then a low and then a high and a
Yeah.
low in terms of
Mhm.
tempo and the type of songs that you
Mhm.
play. And
Yeah.
he seems to
Yeah.
be a master at doing that.
Mhm.
He knows how to pick an opening tune. He knows how to pick the ending tune, and
Mhm.
what's in between is all mint. So you can't go
Yeah.
wrong.
And I think that that's why we don't get burnt out at all. You know, the pace of the show is perfect. You know, I've been in shows where it's all up tempo here, and then you know we lay on the ballads for 3 or 4 songs, and you're like, oh man, we might lose them, and then you're kind of in that mellow mood, and then you go straight back up. But this is a really even paced show. Yeah, it feels great. We have some big surprises with it, which is really cool. So
That's music to an old fan like mine's ears. It is because
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I've seen Burton and his band many, many times
Mhm.
over the course, and I saw Bachman, Cummings many, and whenever
Mhm.
they've been in the East Coast, I've gone. We even
Right.
drove to Atlantic City once and checked them out.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the fact that this is going to be a little different,
Mhm.
that's like
Yeah.
it's like the sprig in my oatmeal, man. This is
Yeah,
going to be
man.
different.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it very much so.
Awesome, man.
Well, listen, we will see you this summer, my friend. The
Yeah.
Guess Who on tour all over the United States and Canada. Hang on, and you'll hear a list of where to get your tickets and where the venues are. Joe Augello, I feel like we're brothers from another mother. The fact that we're both
Absolutely. We kind
musicians
of.
and
Yeah.
locals, and
Mhm.
it's been such a nice time getting to know you. And I hope to see you
Absolutely,
soon.
man. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Hopefully, at the Jones Beach. So that would be
Really?
great.
We'll have to
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about that once we
Yeah.
log off here. Okay. It's Joe Augello of, and
Brother.
I'm proud to say this, of the Guess Who.
Take care, everyone.
Attention, Gen Xers. If you'd like to explore the era that appeals to you, look no further than GenerationXWire.com. The generation who grew up with elite in entertainment, music, movies, TV, books, pro wrestling, and more finally has a one-stop destination for all their Gen X needs. From Aerosmith to Batman to the Killer Bees to the Twilight Zone, there's something for everybody at GenerationXWire.com. You won't find a more eclectic mix of pop culture content than at the leading website that specializes in the greatest generation, GenerationXWire.com. Check it out today. All right, as promised, here's a list of Guess Who concert dates. And I'm glad this show's coming out when it is. In just a couple of weeks, the tour, which has already performed a few dates, will recommence. Most of the dates have Don Felder as the opening act. It's just going to be tremendous. Anyway, here we go. You ready? May 26th, the Avenir Center in Moncton, New Brunswick, in Canada. First batcher in Canada. May 27th, the Scotiabank Center in Halifax. May 29th, Place Laval, Quebec. May 30th, Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. June 1st, TD Coliseum in Hamilton, Ontario. June 2nd, Canada Life Place in London, Ontario. June 5th, Canada Life Center in Bachman and Cummings' hometown of Winnipeg. June 6th, SaskTel Center in Saskatoon. Wow. They better play running back to Saskatoon. That's all I know at that point. June 8th, the Scotiabank Saddledome in Calgary. June 10th, Rogers Place in Edmonton. Okay, we move on to the United States now. June 25th, it kicks off in Mystic Lake Amphitheater in Shakopee, Minnesota. June 27th, the Riverbend Music Center in Cincinnati. June 28th, the Blossom Music Center in Cleveland. June 30th, the Huntington Bank Pavilion at Northerly Island in Chicago. July 1st, the Acrisure Amphitheater in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Another Michigan date, July 3rd, Pine Knob Music Theater. Oh, they're getting into my region. July 5th, the PNC Bank Arch Center in Holmdel, New Jersey. July 7th, the Empower FCU Amphitheater at Lakeview in Syracuse in upstate New York. July 8th, Bank NH Pavilion in Guilford, New Hampshire. I will be there on July 10th at Northwell at Jones Beach Theater in Wantagh. Great outdoor venue there. July 11th, the Hard Rock Live at the ETES Arena in Atlantic City. I saw Bachman and Cummings in Atlantic City many years ago, and they just brought the house down. With the same band, by the way. July 14th, the Albany Med Health System at SPAC. Saratoga Performing Arts Center, folks. They always add these new businesses, but we all know it as the Saratoga Performing Arts Center. Now notice Albany Med Health System at SPAC. It's a tongue teaser, forget it. In Saratoga Springs, beautiful Saratoga Springs, July 14th, SPAC. Another place I've been to see the Guess Who, July 16th, Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville. Back in the early 2000s is when they had their last tour. July 17th, the Leader Bank Pavilion in Boston. July 19th, back to Canada for the Ottawa Blues Fest in Ottawa, Ontario. It's a festival. No support act on that one. August 6th, back to the U.S. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Synovus Bank Amphitheater at Chastain Park in Atlanta. They're going to Texas on August 8th, the Smart Financial Center at Sugarland in Sugarland, Texas. August 8th, Dickies are in Fort Worth. August 12th, Fiddler's Green Amphitheater in Greenwood Village, Colorado. August 14th, the Maverick Center in Salt Lake City. Wow, here's a nice one. August 15th at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and of course, Las Vegas, Nevada. August 17th, the Arizona Financial Theater in Phoenix. August 19th, another beauty, the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. Wow, that's beautiful. August 22, Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. Back to Canada. August 23rd, P&E Fair, the Freedom Mobile Arch in Vancouver. That's a festival. August 25th, Save On Foods Memorial Center in Victoria, Canada. Now dig this. Special guest will be Chilliwack, another Canadian band from the 70s. Unbelievable. That's amazing. I feel young just reading these lists. And this will make you feel young, too. This is the world's smallest recommendation for if you want to hear some Guess Who albums from the day. From 1968 to 1975, the Guess Who recorded for RCA Records. Those are the ones you want. You may go to your local record store or check online to Amazon and places like that. I want to pick up some CDs or albums, and there are some albums by the Guess Who, by the vinyl. Remember, it's the RCA stuff. Look at it this way. The guitarist at the beginning was Randy Bachman. The last one was Dominic Troiano. That's where you should cut it off. The stuff that was made in the 70s, 80s through just a couple of years ago was not the classic band. I don't know how to put it any clearer than that. So if you see any of these other titles or you don't recognize the names on the disc, avoid. That's my opinion. Avoid those. Look for the classic RCA albums. Let's see if I can remember them in order. Now, the best of the Guess Who is a multiple platinum seller, another fine record. That's a compendium, their first greatest hits. And there's other RCA greatest hits as well. But the regular albums go like this. Here they are in order with some other recommendations you might want to check out. The original Guess Who, 1969 released Wheatfield Soul and Canned Wheat. In 1970, American Woman and Share the Land. 1971, So Long Valentine. 1972, a real favorite amongst deep cut Guess Who fans is Rockin. 73, Artificial Paradise and Number 10. 1974, they released Road, Food, and Flavors. And in 1975, Power in the Music. In 76, when the band broke up, there was a contractual release album called The Way They Were, which is not awful. It's the original four guys. It's the aborted tracks made before Randy Bachman left the band. Not bad at all. And there's an album I left out from 72, Live at the Paramount, which Lester Bangs called one of the great live albums of all time of Rolling Stone. He just thought it was great. And it does have its moments for sure. And today's CD version is an extended version album featuring a lot of cuts that weren't on the original RCA disc. So you might want to check that out. Also, the 1984 album Together Again, also known as Reunion, the Best of the Guess Who Live, not bad. That was thinking. And even better is the 2001 release called Running Back Through Canada, 2-disc set. Tremendous, tremendous live record. And there's a video that goes along with it too, running back through Canada, the early 2000s Guess Who tour. There are compilations. There's one called The Greatest of the Guess Who, which isn't bad, Just make sure that they were from RCA. Anything that says RCA on it, you're hearing the real Guess Who. There was a lot of them, track record, the Guess Who collection, and the Best of the Guess Who Volume 2. Awesome stuff. All right. You want the RCA period, the original 70s Guess Who. You will find out they were a multifaceted band if you've never heard one of their albums before. Totally multifaceted. You hear ballads, hard rock crunchers, a song like Hang On to Your Life, which is the closest thing to metal that they ever played. They really struck gold, though, I think, when in 1970, RCA released No Time as a single. As Randy Bachman himself says, the first 3 singles, which were These Eyes, Undone, and Laughing, were what they call soft rock, or some people call them soft. When they started to rock with No Time, An American Woman, that's when they started to really get taken seriously on FM and with music fans worldwide. So that's it. I can't recommend this stuff any more than I am right now. Check out the Guess Who on tour this summer. Thank you for listening to the podcast today. It's been a stone cold blast. I can't have more fun than this. I just can't. It's been wonderful. Write to us, outdatedent, that's outdatedent@gmail.com. If you would like to see your comments read on the air, that's where you go. Don't do it at Facebook. Do it at outdatedent@gmail.com. Though you can find me at Facebook. I'm Bob Smith, the only Bob Smith singing with B.B. King. So you look for that, you got the right Bob Smith. I'm also on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, X, and other places. I'm all over the place when it comes to social media. The Outdated Entertainment Hour and the Outdated Wrestling Hour are productions of Bob Smith Podcasts. That's it for now. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a funny thing, too. I'm having surgery in June, middle of June. And I'm hoping I'm all healed up in time for the concert in mid-July. I think I will be. And I'll be there with bells on. I'll be looking for you guys. I got orchestra seats. You want to come and find me? I probably won't be hard to find because look for the oldest guy there. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, thank you once again to Joe Augello, the coolest cat, wonderful player. This is a great band that's on the road right now. I will stake my reputation for all my years in music journalism and whatnot. They have never been better. That's a big one. I don't think they've ever been better than Cummings and Bachman in the last few years. Bachman just had a successful BTO tour that lasted the better part of a year. This band knows who their fans are. So in any event, that's it for now. It's the Outdated Entertainment Hour. We'll be back next month with another edition. Speaking of my music predilections, just like Ringo Starr always says, peace and love, brothers and sisters. Peace and love.